We're rolling.
All right, we're going to start the monthly meeting of Lakeview Fire Protection, November 19th, 2024. We'll have, let's go ahead and have our prayer right quick and then our pledge of allegiance. So please bow your heads. Lord, thank you for all that you do for us, and thank you for this plentiful rain we've had today. It'll help us control some of the fires that we've been on and throughout the country, Lord. Lord, thank you for giving us and caring for us, and watch over us as we try to protect this community and do business tonight for the community as well. In your name we pray. Amen. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Who's on the list? Brandon,
Here.
me, I'm here. Daniel,
Here.
Paul,
Here.
Doug,
Here.
Mike,
Here.
Angela.
Here.
Did I spell your name right?
Angela.
B-A-L-A-E.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Was I supposed to pass these down, Martha? Because they're all the same.
All right, we're going to have the reading of the annual meeting and the meeting afterwards, the monthly meeting. Ms. John?
Alright, the annual meeting, meeting called to order by Brandon at 7. Pledge and prayer with Brandon, Brandon, Sonia, Daniel, Paul, Doug, and Mike were here. Absent was Daryl. Prior minutes, Sonia read the minutes from the 2023 members meeting. Motion to approve with corrections by Daniel, second by Paul, approved by all. Treasurer's report, Doug reviewed the financial dashboard for the 2023-24 fiscal year. Motion to accept by Paul, second by Sonia, approved by all. He then reviews the proposed budget for the next fiscal year. Daniel made a motion to approve, second by Paul, approved by all. Is that right? My notes were kind of sketchy.
Sounds good to me.
Sure. All right, Chief's report presented by Chief Doyle. Total of year-to-date calls was 1128, 102 Abernat. New equipment has been purchased via county, city, and grants. 2 firefighters completed firefighter 1 and firefighter 2. 1 firefighter completed EMT, and 2 are in the EMT school and or waiting to take National Registry. Selection of the board members as follows. Seat 1 was a full term, Brandon Jones, nominated by Doug, unopposed. Seat 3, full term, Paul, nominated by Janet Wilson, unopposed. Seat 5, partial term until 2026, Angela Fallon, nominated by Daniel Stroop. Did I spell his name right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was trying to debate on if I had an E on there or not. But also unopposed. Ooh, a whole page for no typos. Alright, Janet Wilson made a motion to change bylaws to add board members must own property and be on the deed. Mary Christensen seconded the motion. Brandon advised that in a letter from our attorney, Stephanie Weems, per state law, board members must be a qualified elector and reside in the district. She further advised that additional changes to the bylaws may open the district up to potential lawsuits and require legislative action. A motion was withdrawn. Daniel Griffin made a motion that all bylaw change requests be submitted in writing and will be addressed at the next monthly meeting. Second by Kelly Rowland, approved by all. Martha made a motion to change the time, all meeting times to 6 p.m. Second by Doug, approved by all. Yay. Public comment, there was none. Doug made a motion to adjourn, second by Daniel, approved by all at 7:40.
All right, the motion for bylaws change?
Yes.
The month preceding the next annual meeting, or the next members meeting, we don't do.
The
Members
okay.
meeting, we don't do bylaws changes in the monthly meetings. And Kelly Rowland is Rowland. It's
Without
it's
it.
R-O-L-E-N.
Yeah,
R-O-L-E-N.
R-O-L-E-N, not
I knew I couldn't do 2 pages in a row.
Hey, baby steps, baby steps.
Make a motion
All
to accept minutes for the annual meeting as read with corrections.
Got a motion to accept, Mike seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, the motion one was Daniel. And who second?
Mike.
Mike. All right, let me write down right here, right quick, what? Daniel just said this. The month, at least a month,
It's
The
1
month
month
before.
proceeding.
1 month
So
preceding
basically like in September.
annual meeting. Okay, next, short but sweet one. Meeting called to order by Brandon at 7:47. Members present, Brandon, Sonia, Daniel, Paul, Doug, Mike, and Angela. New and returning board members were sworn in. Minutes from the September meeting were read by Sonia Whitaker. Motion to approve by Paul Quick, second by Daniel. Approved by all. Officer elections, President, Paul Quick nominated Brandon Jones, second by Doug, he was unopposed. Vice President, Brandon Jones, nominated by Paul Quick, second by Sonia Whitaker, he was unopposed. Secretary, Doug, thank you.
No, I did not nominate you, ma'am.
Who nominated me?
I'll take the blame.
You'll take the blame? Okay, good, thank you, Mike. To remain secretary, second by Paul, she was unopposed. Treasurer Daniel nominated Angela, but she declined. Brandon Jones nominated Doug, second by Paul, he also ran unopposed. Old business, Becky Drive property still under contract, should close soon. New business, Doug made a motion to give 3 board members the authority to sign checks. Brandon Jones seconded the motion, approved by all. Doug made a motion to replace Daniel from signing checks to Paul Quick. Mike Fisher seconded the motion, approved by all. No public comment. Paul made a motion to adjourn, second by Daniel, approved by all. Oh, my cute little, one little thing up there.
Make a motion to accept them as corrected.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, September. Wait. It was Paul and Daniel. Okey-doke.
Okay. All right, moving on to treasurer's reports.
The dashboard for the first month of the new year, which is October 2024. Little slight change. Well, it we actually have the budget amounts in there now, so it's easier to see if we're in budget or not. Which at this point in the year we better be.
Projected budget.
Yeah, projected budget. Checking, we began the month with $4,018.59. We ended with $23,898.38. Savings remain the same at $2,084.86. And the CD balance went from $80,964.34. And it ended with $81,957.14. And it will mature on Christmas Eve. So we're going to talk about next month on what to do with it at that point. Under surplus funds, that money is from the sale of the Becky Drive property. It finally did sell. We netted $23,125 out of that. Under insurance, the negative $31 is because we got a little bit of a refund. And I don't think anything else is popping out at me at this moment. Does anybody have any questions?
Make a motion to accept.
Sonia made a motion and Mike accepted, or seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, chief, what's your report?
Yeah, 99 cost for the month, 91 in Lakeview, 8 in Abernathy. Year-to-date total is $993. Training, we're gonna be hosting multiple classes throughout the upcoming year, including a certified volunteer firefighter 160 class we hope to host annually. I just put multiple classes because we've got a pretty lengthy training schedule planned out. So instead of listing every class, it's just easier that way. But we're gonna be doing, the way it's laid out right now, we're pretty much gonna be hosting a class in-house here every month between now and May. So, it's a lot of training.
Do we put that on the website
We do.
and invite whoever?
We do.
Are there any prerequisites to taking it?
Some of them there are, some of them there ain't, just depends on the course. Like, really, like, just depends on what class it is. Like, the hazmat one that we're gonna do, I think what's that, Brian, just 18? For hazmat, I think you just gotta be 18 to take
Yeah.
it, there ain't no other prereqs. That's the first hazmat class, then it goes up into different levels. The 160 class, that's like an entry level firefighter course. There's no prereqs for it either. That's what a lot of volunteers start with. So we're gonna start doing that every year to kind of pull people in to start taking the class and hopefully pull some volunteers in from it to be able to keep them.
That's good.
Truck maintenance, 1303 was placed back in service after the fuel treatment, put in the tank, cleared clogged fuel lines. Fire recovery received $458.82 for October. And miscellaneous, we received part of the equipment for the Tom Victor grant, the remainder equipment should arrive within the week. And I heard today it might be week after Thanksgiving because they didn't have it in stock at Decatur where NAFCO is based out of, so it's having to come from the manufacturer. So it might take like a week longer. But it's coming directly to us. They're gonna drop ship it straight to us. And once we have all that equipment in, we'll just submit receipts to Tom Bigby and they'll reimburse us and that ground will be closed out for this year.
Martha, that, fire recovery didn't clear, so it'll be next month?
There wasn't one for October, that one's November.
We received them in October.
But it'll be in next month's
Yeah, it'd be
money?
next.
Okay.
So it shows we received them in October.
I think they put it in October, yeah. But it didn't get the
All right, y'all have it.
Yeah, I
Hey,
realized
Brandon,
that when you
Brandon, I
read
have a
that.
question.
Yeah.
That was.
Hey, Tyler, could you expound a little bit on the status of the grading that was just downgraded?
With what we can, we really don't know much because the guy hadn't got back to myself or Brandon. We've tried to reach him by email, phone calls, I've sent him texts, we haven't heard nothing back out of it.
So they just send out the rating and.
Well, they came out in April?
March or April.
Yeah, somewhere in the spring, and sat down with me, Brandon, and Chief Bosser, and went over everything, looked at all the training records, looked at everything.
Mhm.
And then they told us no news was good news, so if we didn't hear from them, it should be fine. We never heard from them, and then we got the email, and it changed. So, and we've tried to get up with them since then, haven't got an answer out of it, haven't heard a word from them.
And there's no written procedure on how you challenge any of that or.
We gotta get in touch with them.
Yeah, I said we gotta get in touch with them. The guy-
I'm gonna try to call the other representative that's local to Alabama and see if he can answer his phone. I got it the other day, but we looked over all the points and they didn't even give us credit for some of the points we should have gotten. So, and some of the names are not even our names on those reports, so it's Mr. James and, there's another name on there that we didn't recognize, so I'm not sure if they didn't get two departments mixed up.
Mixed up.
So, but anyhow, we're gonna work through that as quick as we can. But they had my name right and had Tyler's right on the front page, but other documents in the grading system had different names in there, so.
Yeah, scattered through.
Thank you.
Cut and paste.
Yeah.
All right, any committee reports?
Just that the invoices are in process of going out.
Okay. We're about
About 70%.
70% out. Okay. Would you like to 70%? I think I noticed a statement somewhere that we'd work with anybody if by the end of the year, if they get them late, that on any late
We always
fees.
extended it.
Yeah.
If we say we didn't pay anyone, or if you call me and you tell me that you didn't get it in the mail, I'll trust you for one time.
Yeah.
I won't trust you every year.
But they need to contact us by Christmas though, if they don't have, not not into January,
Yeah.
but by Christmas if you have.
At least mid-December?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Under communications, I guess that's.
Basically
pretty much
what
the
you
same
just-
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. And that's, if they want to, anybody online that's listening tonight, it's billing@lakeviewfire.org. That's billing@lakeviewfire.org. Just send us a quick email with your address. If you have your parcel ID number, that would be great, and your name, we'll be able to look it up right quick. All right. Old business, I don't guess there's really much from last month. We did sell that property on Becky Drive,
Finally.
and we netted 23,000 and
125.
125.
So for 26,000, fees was 28.75.
Closing fees and.
Yeah, we're building there soon, probably already underway.
Not just over the other day, and they hadn't done anything.
Haven't done it yet.
No, one day last week.
Any other old business anybody can think of? We're good? All right, new business. Anybody got? I can't think of anything right offhand
I got these, the bylaws
from Mr.
amendments that, Paul typed up for the changes that were made at the annual meeting.
I just want, what I wanna do is, I didn't know whether Brandon wanted to do that in executive session or, cause I wanna speak to bylaws.
We can't do that in executive session. That's a,
Okay, then I guess I'm ready to speak to it, I guess.
All right.
I noticed in the minutes, nowhere in there does it say anything about bylaw changes as far as changing the time of the meeting. No.
It was on the second one.
Well, but the word bylaw.
There's no bylaw,
Oh.
there's nothing about
You
changing
didn't know
bylaw.
That wasn't
My,
on the list.
I don't care if we meet at 6 in the morning, this is not about whether, the time or anything like that. This is about the proper way of going about changing a bylaw. Because the bylaws are registered with the county and the court system. And just like tonight, we don't have anybody here, they could take a position that they thought it was 7 o'clock by their bylaws. We have nothing to represent that we changed them, or didn't, or did or didn't.
Well, the meetings we just read and approved from the annual board meeting, that goes in effect tonight, if I'm not mistaken, correct, since we read them. So that does state that we.
It doesn't
changed-
say anything about a bylaw.
Yeah. Well, we were in the section of bylaws when it says membership business, and it started with a motion from Ms. Wilson about the bylaws, and then it went to Daniel, and then it went to Martha's. So,
yeah,
I mean,
it's just the
vague,
language in the
but-
minutes.
Yeah,
The one, it just, that's another
I just need to
correction.
add change in the bylaw.
Well, yeah, cause
too.
like Martha did motion that
Well,
we
it
change
did,
that.
that wasn't stated. So, I mean, you can add it if you want, but it wasn't stated as a bylaw change. My only point in saying all this is, we need to have the records correct of what we're doing. And this example that I gave, and one of them is, the first two is for the meeting time, but the third one is about what, we've been talking about bylaws. For an example, I don't know how Sonny gets it straight when someone's reading from a piece of paper out in an audience and it's all convoluted about what they're really saying. I mean, I thought you did a heck of a job getting that documented about what she was trying to accomplish there, but reality, it was scattered all over. And something like this is the correct way to change a bylaw. You word it the way it's worded today, and how you propose it to read. You bold, you X out the words that aren't supposed to be there. That's the correct way to do a bylaw change. If you guys don't want to do that, that's fine with me, but I just thought it was upon me to say something anyway.
Two things on that since I made the motion. The way I looked at it was that it was understood it was bylaws. I realized I did not use the word at point taken. But the second part, I guess Mr. Griffin's motion that we get the amendments, or proposed amendments the month ahead, I think that'll solve the second part that we'll have it all going forward.
This bylaw that I proposed here addresses exactly what he's trying to do. The members of the meeting, they vote and approve it.
Mhm.
It just doesn't take effect right then, it takes effect at the following meeting.
Mhm.
It's when
Which-
it's.
Yeah, that was part of which.
I mean, I think that verbiage gets to your point.
Yeah, and it was part of the bylaw change that I made. That's was that everything be done and ratified at the next meeting. But it must be submitted in writing a month ahead of time so it can be reviewed. Specifically, my wording was that so that it can be reviewed by our attorney and put into proper legal language. That way our bylaws are always uniform, kind of like you got here. They're always uniform because if you say, hey, I want a bylaw change to change the meeting time to 6 o'clock, it gets sent to the attorney and then it comes back in the correct format to be read before the members, because we can only do bylaws changes at members' meetings
Right,
anyway.
and so the way this is, verbiage is stated here is they pass the bylaw as they want, but it doesn't get adopted and gives us time to get it to the attorney and then it gets adopted at the board meeting. I mean, I thought it addressed your concern.
Yeah, was that not exactly the way we did it when we passed it out and amended the bylaw change at the members' meeting?
Yeah, no, my point was by using his amendment, I think we won't have your concerns in the future because we will have our ducks in a row before me. That's what I was trying to say.
But at this point, we need to adopt this
Mhm.
change.
One thing that does need to be is, and I think I'd make this, I'll make this in the form of a motion just so it's crystal clear. I make the motion that we, that in addition to the clerical corrections to the annual members meeting, that we include, because we have it on video, so it should be easy enough to find, that we include the exact wording of those bylaw change motions in the minutes. So that we have those precisely written in the, word for word precisely written, at least for the ones that were accepted as opposed to the ones that were rejected.
Say that one more time.
All right, let me go ahead and clarify the objection. Make the motion that in addition to the clerical changes to the clerical corrections to the annual meeting minutes, the precise language of all adopted bylaw changes be added.
That's a bylaw change.
That's not a bylaw change.
That is a bylaw change. How you're going to present a bylaw, it's gotta be in the bylaws.
Yes, I'm just making a motion to correct the minutes from the members' meeting to reflect the exact language that was made in the bylaw changes, since we did not have any procedure in place to ensure they were submitted in writing ahead of time, because they'd never been done that way, period, which is why I made the motion that they needed to be submitted in writing ahead of time. because we do need to have them in writing, they do need to be precise. There does need to be a crystal clear, black and white, no argument over what people are voting on. So, because for the past, how many, 3 years now, 4 years? We've had the consistent argument of somebody showing up, names will not be named, and saying that they did not have that's not exactly what they said when we changed the bylaws, over and over and over again. Then restating, rewording, arguing for 20 minutes, restating, re-arguing, arguing for 20 minutes, bylaw change, and then the next year, that's still not what I said. You changed it on the back end. That's why I made the change. The motion I did is to make sure everything is done in the proper format and is crystal clear. But I'm making the motion that we clarify the minutes so that there's no
What he's
argument.
typed up is what we're saying.
Well, no, I mean, my precise motion is not, I'm talking the exact quote. Here's exactly what was said in the motion, quote, unquote, needs to be put for each of these adopted bylaw changes.
So essentially a transcript.
A transcript.
Verbatim
Of what was said, and we have
And
a
then we need to
video.
buy one of them programs that, does all that.
If we use Zoom or Microsoft Teams, it will transcribe an
Yes, it
entire
will.
meeting for you. I don't know if we use either platform or we have access to it.
Cause I can't write that fast.
Teams is easy enough, yeah.
Yeah.
If they're submitted
But
like this,
people have
all
to
you do is
join,
attach it
people have to
somewhere.
join Teams.
That's exactly why I made the
Well,
motion
if
I
he's
did.
recording
That
it,
doesn't help
he
what
can
happened
just
at the
set it
annual members
himself.
meeting.
So we wouldn't need to necessarily invite anybody in the community to join via Teams, but he could run the Teams meeting.
Yeah.
Doug, you could, if that's a possibility. But
You-
do we have Microsoft Teams?
Well, we use Google, all Google products, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it transcribe meetings?
You can do that, but it's already transcribed on mine, so, I can pull the transcripts.
Perfect.
So, if you're gonna do that now, or?
No, I don't think it needs to be done now, it just needs to be added to the minutes. Oh, provided I get a second and my motion's adopted. But I think that's wise, given the fact that we did not have a bylaw in place at the time to have them submitted in writing as should be appropriate, which is, again, why I made that motion in the first place. Because you're absolutely right, and you and I agree 100% on that. This is what a bylaw change should look like when it's submitted. But that ain't the way it was at the annual meeting, so we need to go ahead and make sure that those are recorded properly so we don't have another, war of who said what.
Brandon,
Mhm.
one of my concerns is that, like I say, that was changed. There's no communication out there that's saying that their bylaws are incorrect, that they have, if they have a set. I have a set, I don't know whether the general,
They're online, the newest set is online.
but that
But
is
not from last month, because
Yeah.
those were not correct.
I think there's only an announcement currently on the website that says the meeting is now at 6 o'clock.
right.
But there's not a
No
new set of
bylaws.
bylaws.
They haven't been updated yet.
Right, right. Is
No.
that something that gets updated quarterly if there is a change?
No,
or is
it gets,
annually?
it gets updated as soon as we approve these
Okay,
monthly, or the annual meeting tonight,
Right.
the minutes. So
but like a new
But this could-
PDF doesn't get generated online.
what Paul created can go along with that as long as it meets the transcripts that,
Okay,
Yeah,
What,
I mean,
I
we
think,
can-
what we do is, if there's an amendment, then it goes at the end, like, it's whatever was there previously, and then underneath that is,
I
so
see.
it's, the permit set has the one from 23, nothing from 24 was added because it was a question. So if the bylaws are in question, I can't put anything out there until there's clarification.
Are you able to pull that transcript, see if it matches what's on the paper?
And,
and then. it
Paul, I do
uses
have a
it.
question,
Sure.
point of clarification here. Are these you typing up the motions that were made, or are these examples, or are these ones that you would like to have made in the future?
Actually, I didn't intend to do anything with these, but have a discussion in executive.
Okay, so these are just an example.
I was trying to, all I was trying to do was try to get us on track of doing the right thing from here forward. That's all I'm really trying to do. You know, so, and make it easier, like I say, sign it. I don't know how she catches all that stuff.
I watched the videos.
Yep. Use a transcript.
No, I don't
You know,
know how to do a
there's nothing in
transcript. I'll
writing
figure
or
it out.
anything. But this is, in my experience, this is the correct way to make a bylaw proposal.
Catherine's looking to see if it matches.
And that was the intention of Daniel's motion, because prior to that, there's never been a formal.
I was
Submission.
changing that
Yeah.
explicitly for that purpose.
Because technically, a motion doesn't constitute a bylaw change.
Yeah.
We have a motion on the floor. I don't know if I have a second or not.
Do we have a second on Daniel's?
I'm not sure I understand it all.
It's simply to, in addition to the clerical errors on the minutes, to add the quoted transcript from the bylaw change motions from the annual minutes, or from the annual meeting to the minutes. So that it's basically pull quoted.
Well, if you're saying add the word bylaw, that didn't happen.
Oh, it absolutely did when I made a motion to change the bylaws.
That's not the one he's questioning.
He talking
But the
about.
time
You know,
change.
if you're saying it's the meeting minutes and that'll be on the transcript, then no, we're not adding anything. I'm saying the explicit language of the motion for everything that was made in the bylaw change.
I think Sonia captured that, didn't she? Except for the.
I didn't catch the bylaw if that was said.
You know, and like I said, this isn't also I'm saying the exact language, like the transcript pull, not the paraphrase, like mine's paraphrased here. I want the exact quote from whatever member made the motion to be pull quoted and added to the minutes. Pulled from the meeting, from the video as a transcript and put there.
So the minutes from now on will be about 20 pages.
No, not the minutes totally, just the annual meeting minutes, just the bylaws changes that were passed. So not Janet's, because hers wasn't passed, mine, and if Martha's is a bylaw change, if she did say it was, then hers as well. If she didn't, then it's not a bylaw change and it's void, and we need to be meeting at 7. So that needs to be, but I want that pull quoted.
Now, one of the things, Brandon, I mentioned to you the other day, if we have a special meeting, we happen to have a special meeting before the election for the dues increase, if we happen to have one, we could use these and pass them then, and then there is no question. I mean, just as.
Not a special meeting, but a board,
a
Special call.
member-
It would have to be a
Special
special meeting of the members called explicitly for that purpose.
Because we probably should do that anyway, to do as much good as we can to try to get this passed on this dues increase. I mean, it's been so long now since we even been out there beating the bushes over this dues increase. I hope we can get the turnout, you know.
It really needs to be our focus, 100%, is getting
Yeah.
turnout for the dues increase. I wouldn't recommend any special called members meetings unless it's an absolute emergency between now and the election, just to avoid confusion.
Well, I think it is an emergency.
Well, I think the clearer you make it to the community, the more support you'll have.
Well, no, I'm not talking about for the dues increase, that is, I'm talking about other special business, such as bylaw changes, and that's just my 2 cents on it, is I wouldn't throw that into the mix between now and the election.
The final, wording was just to change all meetings to 6, whatever was spoken before, the final, we have a motion, change all meetings to 6. So there was a,
That's not a bylaw change, then that's. I think everybody understood it that way, but it doesn't matter, it wasn't stated that way.
Okay. Alrighty. Do you want your motion on the table still?
It is, I'm more concerned about my bylaws change than I am the others, to be honest.
I'll second the motion. Is there, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Four. I heard four, is that correct?
Yeah.
Alright. Any opposed? Motion passed. Alright, now, let's see, what else we got? Any other new business? Alright, no public input tonight, I suppose. I guess we can get a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Dan,
Second.
okay? Alright, all in favor?
Aye.